So this is just an initial slide. About 4 months ago, we did a client survey. What's weird about and what's freaky about the virtual assistant world is that we don't have an NRA or California Association of Realtors or any kind of bodies yet that collects information for us. So the only real data that we have is data that we collect from our own clients. This first slide is just a quick. We asked the question, what's the most effective role that a virtual assistant can do? And you can see the top two is sales and sales support, and that's 40%. And the next one, administrative, and then marketing. And then there's some people that have like accounting and customer service. Our company is really set around 3 different positions. And the first one is the sales support, and that's making calls. Whether you guys are using Conversion, Market Leader, Boomtown, any kind of platform where you have phone numbers and people's emails, that's what a sales support person would do. And within the virtual assistant realm, we're really very specific about what their role is. And on the sales support side, it's really just getting people to raise their hand and say, I have an interest in services. The virtual assistant role is just to get somebody to raise their hand. And so, a person's registering on your website, they fill out the information, a virtual assistant within the first couple minutes is picking up the phone, making a call to that lead and asking questions, and going through your guys' script. But the moment, whenever the lead says, I'm ready now, that's when the virtual assistant does a smooth transition handoff to somebody on your team who can build rapport, knows the market, and starts talking real estate. We have a marketing support, creativity. That's a different personality profile. You can use them in the social media function, flyer creation, writing, blogging, all kinds of stuff on the creativity side. And then we have a general administrative virtual assistant. And that is like anybody who, does transaction coordination, helps with MLS input, database management. So transaction coordinators, upload contracts, inputting MLS, collection of buyer agent office, create net sheets, send counteroffers, finalize contracts. A lot of people don't realize that a virtual assistant can do all the paperwork for you. They just can't negotiate contracts. And so, just today we had in my office, DocuSign, my virtual assistant set it up for a seller to sign one of our listings. And my virtual assistant, I just said, hey, go. We've got this contract. Have the seller sign and go. And so they put all the data in there, put it in DocuSign, send it out to our sellers. The sellers know who this one, in this instance, it's a guy in our office named Matt. So Matt's taking care of this, and it just becomes a very seamless process. So as long as they're not negotiating contracts and as long as they're not talking about purchasing and buying and selling, you can have a virtual assistant assist. And so what do we do inside of our leads class? Every time we get a new client come on, we follow something called the learning frameworks, where people watch someone else doing it. They practice doing it. In this instance, it's called role play. Then they apply, so that's 1 month of sitting with a virtual assistant doing it. And what that means is when, in terms of a virtual assistant, taking the time out of their day and sitting with, if you don't already have somebody doing this job, that means you, the leader, may have to sit with your virtual assistant and just walk them through what should happen on a daily basis. You just have to realize that you need to spend time with them and develop a relationship even early on, because their initial, the way they are successful is basically from you coaching them the same way you guys are looking for coaching from Kinder Reese or any other coach out there. This is actually midway through last year. We recruit in the Philippines really hardcore. So for the first 6 months, we had 4,000 applicants. We had 2,740 initial interviews. We had 1,331 online exams, and we basically IQ them. We do an IQ test and say, okay, is this person smart enough to take a basic test and pass it? And we had 917 final interviews. We had 500 people endorsed to HR, and of those, we had 336 people basically start training with us, start our 2-week training course. And from that 336, about half of them failed. And so the reason we do this kind of training, 2 weeks training course, and we've been doing it for about 3 years, and we just didn't do it in the beginning because we just hoped that we were matching people up, but we found people weren't showing up on time, or they'd had a technology problem, or we thought they'd be great, but then they didn't turn assignments in on time, or they weren't making their brokers happy. And so we did this 2-week training really to make sure that, one, they turn on their assignments on time, they show up to class, they actually read the material, they're friendly on the phones. I mean, it's just a big deal for us to get 2 weeks to spend with them before we give them to, our clients. So this is how we work. Client pays our initial setup fee, $495, sign the customer service agreement, completes the job description, we screen them, match them, and then you get to interview them. That's a big portion of the success. We do an FBI background check. We do an employment and education check. If they went to a particular college, we want to make sure that it's not a fake diploma, which, by the way, is very rampant over there. And if they say they worked for, for instance, a JP Morgan Chase, because JP Morgan Chase is over there in the Philippines, Wells Fargo's over there, all the call centers are over there. We actually call and verify that they actually work there. And then we have a skills assessment. And you know what? Actually, wildly enough, for some reason, in here is, in my opinion, the most important thing. Okay. How good are we? This is client response. You can see we're really transparent with our numbers. This is on the screen, guys. Almost 90% of our clients say that we're good, very good, or excellent. I would say the biggest success thing is just, set the expectations up front. Have your job description be very specific. Never have a question of what the virtual assistant is supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Be a week ahead of them in terms of a training regiment. Whatever you would want in terms of their training period to be, just schedule that out. Tuesday I'm going to spend 2 hours with my VA going over this. Thursday I'm going to spend 30 minutes going over this. Friday I want them to watch this webinar and go through this system. And so if you detail what the first couple months looks like with a virtual assistant and what success looks like, you're probably going to have more a simpler experience.